Good morning. Good morning. Welcome back, everybody, to another edition of Kings of the North podcast. This is our rapid fire segment. I'm here again with Travis Rodriguez, and we're getting all tuned up for a Week 14 edition of our rapid fire. Got some interesting matchups and another tough week. It looks like Travis is +1. I came in to last week +1, and it looks like he gained a couple. And he is now on top, but definitely close coming down the stretch here, and going to be a fun last couple weeks. Travis, what's going on today, brother?
Not much. Just driving up to work right now. I've got a 2-hour trip. I got about a half hour left, so I figured let's knock this segment out.
Hell yeah, let's do it. We'll just start it off right away. The Thursday night matchup. Typically, Thursday nights, kind of some mediocre opponents and whatnot, and not usually the most intriguing matchups, but last week obviously pretty good with the Vikings and the Cowboys, and then again this week we got Oakland traveling to Kansas City. Last time Kansas City came out on top pretty convincingly actually, but that was an early season matchup, and now a lot on the line. What are you thinking here right off the bat with Kansas City and Oakland?
Yeah, that game at the beginning of the season was a different Oakland team. I think Oakland's really hot right now, and I'm hopping on their train, and they're going with the Raiders on this one.
All right. Well, right away, starting off with the difference. This is the one I had already written down. I kind of did some research and whatnot, and just because Kansas City won last time and whatnot, I think it'll be a little closer game, obviously, but at home, Kansas City's playing some good ball and a lot on the line. I think they will figure out a way to get the job done. So I got that one, Kansas City. So we'll cruise into Pittsburgh at Buffalo, another East Coast matchup, and also some intriguing matchups here. I don't know which way to really go on this one. I think Big Ben, though, and Le'Veon Bell with Antonio Brown will be able to outscore Tyrod Taylor and LaShawn McCoy and the return of Sammy Watkins this weekend. So I'm going to go with Pittsburgh on the road. I know Buffalo's a tough place to play, got a decent defense, but Pittsburgh's defense is playing all right. So we'll see what happens. What do you think?
Yeah, I'm going to go with Steelers as well. Just that offense is too much, I believe, for their defense. And the fact that it's on the road makes it a little intriguing, but I'm going to go Steelers on this one.
All right. Steelers for both of us on that one. Cruising along to Denver at Tennessee. Another kind of intriguing matchup. Tennessee's been playing well at home, undefeated, if I am correct.
The Vikings beat them, but maybe that's how they lost.
Yeah, for the first game of the season, but it was a pretty well-contested game now, kind of looking back at it. We didn't really know what we were getting out of both teams at the beginning of the year, but looking back at it, it was a pretty tight game. But here we go with Denver at Tennessee. I've been on Tennessee all year, and I think I'm just going to roll with my squad at home against Denver. I feel like they'll be able to shut down Denver's offense and maybe get to Simeon. They don't have the best defense there in Tennessee, but maybe they'll get a little weather and be able to get something going on the offensive side of the ball with Mariota, DeMarco Murray, Rashard Matthews in that run game.
Yeah, I think the Denver Broncos are going to start flatlining myself, so I had Tennessee as my pick right away from the get-go. I didn't even have to think about this one. I'm feeling the Titans are going to, take that next step and take control of the AFC South, so I'm going to go Titans as well.
All right, Tennessee for both of us on that one. Washington at Philadelphia. We're going to be at Lincoln Field in Philadelphia. Kirk Cousins playing some good ball, obviously, and Carson Wentz kind of coming back down to earth after starting off the season 3-0 and whatnot. I got Washington at Philadelphia here, or I guess you were able to pick this one first, but either way.
Yeah, I'm going to go the opposite direction anyway. I think the Redskins have lost 2 straight now, and I just want them to lose because I'm shooting for a wild card spot for a Vikings fan because we're going to win out, but we need them to get one more loss and we'll be okay. So I'm going to go with the Eagles to step up at home.
All right, so you're going Philly. I'm going Washington.
Correct.
All right. Next game I got here is Arizona at Miami, and I'll let you go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, Miami coming off their first loss in 7 weeks. I kind of think they're going to come back down there as well, and I think the Arizona Cardinals are going to start heating it up and try to make, they're playing.
Cool, dude. So you got the Cardinals there. I'm going with Miami, the away squad. I just think that Miami with the home field advantage there, playing pretty well. Carson Palmer and whatnot have struggled on the road all year long. So I'm going to go with Miami on that one. And looks like you got Arizona. So we will just roll with you got Arizona, I got Miami, and then we'll move on to San Diego at Carolina. This Carolina squad's a tough one to figure out for me this year, and San Diego's also been one of those kind of streakier squads as well. They're both teams with good talent, but just haven't really gotten the job done when it comes to the win column. But I think I'm going to go with Carolina at home against San Diego. What are you thinking in this one?
For some reason, I've been kind of infatuated with the Chargers all year, and they've overcome a lot of obstacles. And the Panthers are free falling fast. They're 4-8, so I'm gonna go with the Chargers.
All right, San Diego Chargers. Yeah, I don't know. Both these teams are kind of those teams that have just let me down all year long, and I haven't been able to pick them correctly for the most part. It's just the hard ones to figure out for me. And another one right here could be kind of interesting. I haven't even decided myself yet. Cincinnati at Cleveland. Cleveland obviously itching for a W, and then obviously Andy Dalton and them not playing the type of football they have envisioned. They spanked Cleveland last time, but no AJ Green this time, and maybe they'll be able to try and shut down the run there with Hill and Rex Burkhead. But I think I'm gonna stick with Cincinnati, I guess, but just because Cleveland has not got a win, and I don't think they will.
Yeah, it's a little interesting, more than it should be. I'm close to the Browns. RG3's coming back, but that's actually going to be the reason I'm picking the Bengals. I don't know. It's been since week 1 he's played, and I don't feel he has it, so I'm going to go with the Bengals on the road. A lot of road picks I'm picking this week, so.
Yeah, I tried to spot start RG3 in one of those early games in fantasy and regretted it. And I think it might even been the one he got injured in. So, but yeah, I just don't think I don't think he's gonna get it done at all. Moving on, we got Chicago at Detroit, big NFC matchup. Chicago obviously not a lot to play for, just being spoiler, and Detroit trying to hold on to this division lead here. At Detroit, I don't really want to pick them, but what are you going to go with here?
Yeah, I don't. I'm going to pick the Lions because they're probably going to win.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't even mind losing the game if the Bears beat the Lions because I like game to game. So, but I'm going to go Detroit because this is for money, and I think they're going to win. But again, hopefully the Bears pull it off. But I'm picking the Lions.
Yep, I'm with you there 100%. Because obviously us being NFC North guys, we're both itching to get our teams on top, and our teams are clearly not where they need to be right now. But onward to Houston at Indy. that division is pretty troublesome, probably the worst in the NFL. Andrew Luck playing a little better football now that he's back and healthy, but I'm going to roll with them, I think. Brock Osweiler, we've basically torn him apart all year. He hasn't got it done, and I think he continues to suck.
Who'd you pick?
Indy.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one. You were breaking in and out a little bit. I'm in the middle of nowhere. Yeah, I'm gonna go with the Colts as well, especially at home. And I don't like the Texans. I don't think they're a good team. I was kind of being a homer and picked them against you guys last week, and that bit me in the butt. So I'm going with the Colts as well.
Yeah, I thought they were gonna put on a little more even last week against us, and yeah, Brock Osweiler just doesn't have it yet. I don't know if he will. He impressed me in the preseason, and I kind of drafted him and Will Fuller in some fantasy lineups and whatnot, and obviously regretted that decision. But he sucks. That's all plain and simple. I don't think he'll have to do something to get back on track before he loses his job next season. But we'll move on to your squad down in Jacksonville. I think it's a pretty good matchup considering you're down Harry Smith and who knows what O-lineman and whatnot you're missing this week. But I guess I'll let you choose first in this one, assuming you're going with your squad.
Yeah, quietly, I guess the Jaguars have the fourth best defense in the league. I've been hearing. I didn't know that. But maybe that makes it kind of intriguing because we probably have the worst defense. No, obviously I think we're going to win, and I hope we freaking score about 20 points and try to get our shit together and make it a convincing win. So I'm going with my home squad on the road against the Jaguars. I'm going with Vikings.
Yeah, their defense has improved from the beginning of the year, and their offense kind of has just failed to kind of exploit those matchups with Allen Robinson and Allen Hurns like they were last year. I think it's kind of people seen the blueprint on them and got them figured out a little bit, and Bortles hasn't taken that next step, kind of like Derek Carr. That's kind of how I've related to him all year. Just they were both kind of at the same spot going into the season, and one of them took that next step, and the other one did not. Because I could easily see the Raiders being in the same spot as them, and Jackson just flip-flopping with Carr and the Crabtree and whatnot, you know what I mean? And Amari Cooper could easily be Allen Robinson, Allen Hurns, and Blake Bortles. But obviously one team took a step in the opposite direction offensively. But I'm going to go Jacksonville just because I'm obviously a Packer fan, and I think they have a good shot at home against your squad as long as they're able to contain your offense and whatnot. So sticking with Jacksonville there.
Perfect. I'll take the 1-game lead right from the get-go. So what's next?
We got another toilet bowl. All we're going to need after this is a little Cleveland, San Francisco, because we got the Jets traveling to San Francisco this week, and they were on Monday Night Football this last week, and it was horrendous. I don't know did you watch that game at all? Because it was...
I tried to, but then I was like, screw this, and started playing a little bit of Xbox.
That was probably a better decision. This was literally, I believe, like one of the worst games I've ever watched as a fan. It was not competitive. The Jets players just completely quit. There was just plays where it looked like the Pro Bowl where their O-line would just kind of stand there. The defense would just stand there on the line and let the quarterback drop back, and Andrew Luck was just tossing it around on them, and they just seemed defeated. And that's why I have a hard time with this game. New York at San Francisco, but I think I'm going San Fran. Just that it's at San Francisco, and I think the Jets are pretty much calling it quits till the draft.
Yeah, I agree, and I actually picked the Niners over the Bears last week, but the Bears surprised the shit out of us. But I don't think the Jets will do the same with Bryce Petty. I don't even know where he came from. I just know he started. But I'm going to go with the Niners as well. A little bit of pumpernickel action, a little Kaepernick action, and running all over the field and that type of stuff.
Yeah, I started Kaepernick in my league. I still won, thankfully. and I was already in the playoffs. He got me -3 points, I believe, and it wasn't pretty. I dropped him immediately this week, and now I got Mariota back, even though it's not a great matchup, but definitely glad to have Mariota back. But
yeah, I'm sure. Actually, I don't know. I'd almost just for the based off the matchups, but that Jets defense is pretty good. But anyway, go ahead.
Yeah, if I knew it was gonna be the Jets defense, I gave up however many points to Luck last week. But I cannot trust Kaepernick right now. I think Mariota will at least get me my solid 15, 16 points.
Right.
But
makes sense.
Next one I got here is New Orleans at Tampa Bay. I'll let you go ahead.
This game is it's intriguing, and I feel like the Bucs and the Lions are like the weird teams this year. Like, who the hell are you guys? Why are you here? And the Saints burned us last week, me and you, because we both picked them to beat the Lions, and I actually really did think they would, and not even a homer pick, because the Saints got a really good offense, and Drew Brees stunk it up for me in my fantasy. Thankfully, I won, and I was already in the playoffs, and I got the first round bye. So I'm going to go with the Saints again, even though it doesn't impact my fantasy team, but it impacts our wild card chances for us and the Packers. So I'm going to go with the Saints.
All right. Yeah, I'm probably going to stick with Tampa Bay here. It's like you said, Tampa Bay kind of like the Detroit in comparison, and Detroit was able to kind of shut down Drew Brees, and they kind of farted on the game last week. I don't know, I didn't get to see much of that game besides some highlights, but if it's the same Drew Brees as last week, it's not going to be so good for them in result, and I don't know how much they got to play for even with their record and whatnot besides playing some spoiler, but I'm going to roll with Tampa and just hope to gain a game on you here. But those divisional games down there in that division are always interesting and could roll either way for sure.
Absolutely, yeah. Well, hopefully, even if when the Saints do win, you'll be a little happy because, that's a wild card spot that we need over them. So
yeah, I'll definitely take the silver line in there. Atlanta going out to LA. I'm going to roll with Atlanta here. LA just doesn't have enough firepower to match up. I've been picking Matt Ryan every week, as you know, and I just think that they're going to kind of out firepower LA, even though they got a decent defense, and they might be able to get rolling with Todd Gurley and that offensive strategy they got with Goff or whoever's starting at QB over there these days.
Yeah, it's Goff, but who is this Todd Gurley character? I haven't heard of him all year.
All right, yeah.
And the Falcons basically shot themselves in the foot last week. They should have beat the Chiefs. The Falcons got a good offense. I'm going with the Falcons as well.
Yes, sir. All right, Atlanta there. And moving on to my squad, Seattle coming to Green Bay. It's going to be a big game. I'm obviously choosing my squad. I don't know how much confidence I have in it. It's going to really come down to Packers shutting down Thomas Rawls and containing Jimmy Graham as much as possible. Could be another scary, like Kirk Cousins, Jordan Reed type game. And I feel like Seattle matches up really good against our defense, but I'm just picking with my team on this one. Probably not the smartest of ideas, but got to do it. I picked against Green Bay once. I was right, but it's getting down to the nitty gritty. So I'm just gonna trust in Rodgers and hope for the best.
I feel like when you chose against the Packers, you were throwing the white towel in on the season, and then they won 2 straight after and got to 500. And hey, so are the Vikings. So I hear you. I'd be a homer and pick the Packers too if I was a Packers fan. Since I'm not a homer and I'm a realist, I'm gonna go with the Seahawks.
Yeah, it's probably better to be in your situation right now for as far as picking this game, but you gotta do what you gotta do. Dallas at the Giants. Pretty good matchup. I believe this is a Sunday night showdown here. 7:30.
Sunday night showdown.
At New York,
yeah, I think
MetLife.
the Giants are a fluke, to be real. They had a very soft schedule to bring them to 8-5. I'm just shooting for them to lose. I'm looking at the Vikings going 10-6 in a 5 seed. So yeah, I'm gonna go with the Cowboys. Go ahead and probably clinch, I believe, the division after this week, and I believe gain first round bye, but not the first seed. So I'm gonna go with the Cowboys.
All right, I think I'm gonna roll with the Giants on this one. They beat them early in the season, and Giants still got a lot to play for as far as playoff hopes go. And at MetLife Stadium, and maybe they're gonna hold the Zeke down. They gave him his worst performance of the year fantasy-wise, and I think they're gonna continue that trend and just try and shut down Zeke and the big boys, Des Bryant and Jason Witten and whatnot, and maybe try and find Odell Beckham in the corner of the end zone for a one-handed grab, and I get the W there. That's pretty much what I'm hoping for.
Alrighty, what's the Monday night game?
Monday night is Baltimore traveling to New England, and it should be a pretty good one. Baltimore plays pretty good defense, stopping the run and whatnot, susceptible to the pass a little bit. We all know Tom Brady in New England, what they can do there. No Gronkowski, obviously, but that doesn't really concern me too much with Brady and Belichick. They always seem to have a plan. And then New England's defense is I'm rolling with New England, the home squad, either way, but what are you going to do here?
Yeah, Gronk being on IR hurts because the league where I got to buy in fantasy, he was my second pick. But I got Martellus Bennett and Eifert to replace him, and I really want to pick the Ravens because the Ravens somehow have a number on the Patriots when they're on the road, but that's in the playoffs, this is the regular season. So I'm going to go with the Patriots as well.
All right. It should be at least a better Monday night game than this Jets-Colts game from last week. But
yes, absolutely.
Certainly a tough week of matchups and some good football to keep an eye on here. You're +1, and should be fun going forward here. That's all I got. What do you think?
Yeah, it should be fun. It's gonna be interesting, like week 17, see if people are sitting and stuff like that. But I think as far as there's only one team in the league that's gonna pretty much not be playing for anything week 17. I think the rest of the league's playing for something, whether it's a seed or a playoff spot or even spoilers. So I think it should be an interesting season all the way through.
Yeah, definitely. Pretty much Cowboys, maybe New England, Oakland might be resting some people, just seeing how it goes. Maybe even Detroit if plays out correctly for them. Hope not, though. Hoping the best for our squads. And but we will get to previewing some games this weekend, and we'll call it a wrap. Thanks, everyone, for listening, and have a good day at work, Travis.
Yes, I will freeze. Thank you.
All right. Check you later.